Hey, what's up, friends? JaCubAsAlways back here today with week 4 of the ITL. Big ups to my man Ricardo for filling in for me in my last upload. You guys know I'm a busy dude, and yeah, I couldn't quite step up to upload my last video. Just didn't have the time, so my man stepped in. Big ups to him. Go check him out. He is an up-and-coming player in the draft scene. He's a man's a god, so go check out his channel. He's drafted some really innovative heat in the March Madness tour, so that's going to be really excited to see how he uses those mons, and yeah, it should be a lot of fire. So go check him out, man. And yeah, so we are here today with ITL week 4 up against Helmy. His Twitter handle is like I think Shiny Heracross, I think. So yeah, it should be a pretty interesting match. He's got some threats. On his roster, he had stuff like Coma O, which is a pretty decent threat if it starts to set up Dragon Dances. Also, he has specs potential with Clanging Scales, which is definitely something I had to account for. Definitely a threatening team. He's got the Alolan Ninetales, which is an Auravel setter, which aids his team in setting up versus me. So that's definitely definitely something that could be a pain. But we got that covered. You already know. So he also has the Zydog, which is a decent threat. Like I do have Lando, which checks it effortlessly if I'm like a defensive set. But it can be a potential pain if you can set up freely with like an Auravel up. So yeah, you're gonna have to play to prevent that. He's got a lot of hazard stack potential with Donphan and Skarm. And then he's brought the Chandelure, as you can see. They're pretty I don't know, kind of questionable bring versus me. I do have a Muck, I do have Licky Licky, unless he's like a Trick Willow variant. He's really not going to be doing too much to me. But Shandy's always a threat. Nice high special attack stat. But he's got Melodic there, which is it's a decent physical wall. It could also be a special variant, a specially defensive variant to check a Tapu Lele with like Mirror Coat or something. So that's definitely something I'm gonna have to scout for. I'm not trying to do like 40% with Psychic and get blown back by Mirror Coat. So it's definitely something I'm gonna have to be aware of during the match. But yeah, pretty decently threatening team. But I'm gonna go over the team that I've brought today. So we have my 4 attacks Thundy, basically here to threaten a potential lead Ninetales, trying to lead off an Auravel turn 1, as I do with the Flash Cannon, which just straight up OHKOs it. Rocking Yachi Berry this week to allow me to, again, beat like Scarf Ninetales. Also helps me with like Ice Shard Donphan, as well as Ice Beam from Melodic, if he does want to go for that. If I can't take it out with a T-Bolt from the Ranger Health stat. So yeah, Yachi pretty solid in this match. I just felt as though Thundurus was so important in checking potential lead Ninetales that if he's a Scarfed variant for some reason and he's like Scarf Blizzards me turn 1, I could die if I'm not Yachi. So yeah, that's kind of the reasoning behind the Thundy. Then we have a Scarfed Tapu Lele. He does not have a Dark on his team, so Psychic is relatively free, except if he's got like a specially defensive Skarm. Originally wanted to bring Specs, but I thought better of it because he does have a Como on his team, which could, at +1, Scarfed Lele outspeeds him with the spread that I'm running. It also allows me to check Scarfed Chandelure, as well as a neutral Zydog. I don't really expect him to be bringing Dragon Dance, like he could bring it, but I kind of feel like either like a Subtoxic variant or a Choice Band variant would be the better option. Even like a Life Orb HP Ice variant could be nice to potentially catch my Lando, but yeah, that's really going to depend on how creative my opponent is when it comes to prep. So Lele, pretty solid Revenger, nice to set up the Psychic terrain for the rest of my team, so stuff like Extreme Speed from Zydog and Ice Shard from Donphan aren't in effect. And then we have Sash Alakazam, pretty nice check to stuff like a Dancing Como, a Dragon Dancing Zydog, which is pretty nice indeed. Like it's always nice to have a nice safety net in the back versus boosters. So yeah, nice 4 attacks there. Then we have my defensive Decidueye, pretty decent switch into Zydog. Like I'd still tank a fair bit from like an Adamant Choice Band Outrage, but I do have Landorus in the back to kind of scout for that. It is a really solid switch into 1000 Arrows, which is not something that a weakened Lando of mine is going to appreciate switching into. As 1000 Arrows is quite free versus my team, I do have Registeel, so he does definitely have incentive to bring like a banned 1000 Arrows variant. So Then we have AV Mark, like just such a fantastic check to Shandy. Nothing really like too complicated about this set. Rocking Flamethrower for Scum. Didn't want to bring Fire Blast because you know I'd miss, and yeah, you guys will see why I didn't bring Flamethrower. Fire Blast, that is. Yeah, just traps Shandy, eliminates one of the biggest threats to my defensive core, which is really nice. Lets me knock off items, lets me knock off like banned on Zytoglyphs, knock off potential lefties on Scum, which will make it easier for my Tapu Lele to beat it 1v1. And then we have my defensive Lando. Like, I have HP Fire in this variant. My opponent also had a Katana on his team, so being able to Oko that effortlessly with HP Fire is pretty nice. I got the lefties there. I contemplated Rocky Helm, but like the fact that he has 1000 Arrows Zytog means that he's probably going to be spamming that. Having lefties is just really nice for longevity versus Katana, because it will force switches. Like Lando does force switches versus this team. He can't, like, well, he shouldn't assume that I am completely defensive. I could be set up, I could be offensive, and getting lefties recovery back is pretty nice in like force switches and even just like tanking a hit and getting some lefties back. So yeah, looking at his team, as I mentioned earlier, Ninetales is a potential Aurabelle lead, so I'm going to lead off with my Thundy, who was designed to take on such a thing, and you know, just even preventing like a lead Scum from, you know, stacking turn 1 is pretty nice. You know, Thundy scares out a lot of his potential leads. We're going to lead off with my Thundy as he leads off with his Skarmory. Before I jump into the match, I want to give a shout out to JaCubAsAlways for joining my team, and my boy King Bub for recording it. So both you guys, thanks a lot. You're both awesome dudes. I really do appreciate it. So I'm going to jump back to the match. He's going to lead off with Scum, so we do lead off with Thundy. Now I could taunt here, I could T-Bolt. It's in his interest unless he's like a Custap area variant. But I don't think Custap is released yet, so it's in his interest to switch out here. I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse, which does break a potential Sash, does break his Scum sturdy if he does elect to stay in, and if he goes out to Donphan, it's going to break his sturdy. So I'm going to go for Dark Pulse here, as he does go out to Donphan here on my Dark Pulse, which is really solid now. This is going to put him in, this is going to put a non-Assault Vest variant in Grass Knot range. And you guys are going to see this damage on the Donphan does a decent amount. This does reveal that he's more than likely in Assault Vest, but Grass Knot is like a roller to take him out from this range of health, and he has nothing, judging by his investment, he's not like offensively invested, he can't actually take me out with anything here. So I'm going to go for the Grass Knot, just weakening this thing for me to spam T-Bolt late game, as he could well just go for the Stone Edge here, but it won't kill me because I do have some bulk, and non-invested Donphan can't kill me with Stone Edge. He's actually going to go for the knockoff here, choose to knock off my item, maybe predicting my Decidueye to come in there. He's going to get a crit, which really sucks. Very unfortunate, but yeah, what can you do? He goes for the knockoff, gets a crit, knocks off my Yachi, so I'm obviously not going to be able to live an Ice Shard after that crit. The reason this sucks is now that I'm under 25%, had he just gone for a knockoff and I'd received the normal damage, I would have been out of range of rocks. So if he does get rocks up, I'm going to be forced to defog them before I can bring Thundy back in. So you know what's new, Gypsy getting locked. But I'm going to switch out this turn and go into my Lele, you know, predicting the Ice Shard, because yeah, you know, boy better know. Lele, shout outs to BBK, and you know, we eat up the Ice Shard because Lele is broken. And yeah, so Donphan is going to basically catch this Psychic to the dome and just drop here. He didn't really have a switch into Psychic, which is fine because, like, you know, I was going to get a kill there anyway unless he wanted to Scar me with Spit F. So he's going to go into his Chandelure here. Now I know I can live any hit barring a Specs Shadow Ball and proceed to 2k him with Psychic, but you know, I want to scout out his set first. I do have like the perfect counter in the back, being my Assault Vest Mark. So if he does want to stay in and fire off an attack, I can just revenge it next turn, so that's fine. So I'm going to switch out here, going to go out into my Mark, into my check. And this is fine. Like if he wanted to Willow me or trick me or something here, I could go for the Pursuit next turn, which guarantees he dies to Psychic. So all I wanted was a bit of chip off in this Chandelure. You know, but my opponent crits me and burns me, you know, of course. So, you know, Muck, you know, we stay getting locked out here, but it's not going to stop us. Muck's going to pursue my opponent, And yeah, Shandy's going to take a fuckload from this pursuit, even though I'm burnt, because Muck is a god. And now this thing is definitely in range to die to Psychic. We get a Poison Touch, meaningless, because you're going to see like Shandy doesn't need health. It's going to die to any attack. So he's going to go into his Scum this turn, as we do take the residual from the burn. I'm going to go for the Flamethrower here, just not wanting to let the Scum set up for free. I do want to force it to roost if it has it. And he's actually going to reveal to be Swords Dance. So yeah, definitely interesting. If this is an offensive variant, then he literally doesn't have a response to Lele on his team. Definitely not Specs Lele, literally 2 occurs in his entire team. So yeah, pretty interesting. That damage reveals that he's definitely not Spit F from my Flamethrower, but this is going to force him to take me out here with Muck or Roost. Either way, I lose nothing by keeping him low and just clicking Flamethrower. He's going to go for Iron Head here and take me out, and this is going to invite back in my Tapu Lele. Very unfortunate that Muck got crit and burnt, because I would have been out of range of +2 Iron Head. I would have been able to get another Flamethrower off there, potentially get a burn. I'm going to go into my Thundy here, not my Lele, and just fire for T-Bolt. He has no T-Bolt resist now that Donphan's down, so he does have the Zydogue in the back, but I could have gone for the Dark Pulse, which would have done like half to the Zydogue because it is so frail. But Shandy's going to come in here, and I know this is scuffed. I'm going to let him take out my Thundy here because I can revenge with Tapu Lele, and he really doesn't have too many things that want to switch into Lele now. His Shandy is, I know, is more than likely a scuffed variant, and I definitely do outspeed with my Tapu Lele, so yeah, nothing's really safe here. He's going to let Shandy go down this turn, perhaps expecting me not to be a scuffed variant, or maybe thinking he outsped me. But yeah, either way, I'm going to take him out with the Psyshock here, which is nice because we remove one of the biggest threats to my defensive core now, like Lando and my Decidueye kind of take on his Zygarde far more effectively. His Zygarde's going to come in here, and I could have gone for the Psyshock here and potentially taken him out. I do definitely live 1,000 arrows, even if he's like a banded variant. But I'm going to switch out into my Landorus, sorry, because Tapu Lele is one of my best win cons, as he is going to go for the 1,000 arrows this turn and reveal not to be a banded variant. So he's more than likely a Z-move variant because this is his eligible Z-move mon. So I'm going to reveal lefties, and I'm going to eat that up, so this reveals that I'm not obviously Z-Lando, and he's actually going to go for the Dragon Dance here, so yeah, he chooses to boost up on my defensive Landorus. I really don't agree with this play whatsoever, because he does have a Melodic in the back. Had I gone for Earthquake here, I would have 2-KO'd him, and he would have dealt very little damage with me at neutral. He's at neutral now after the Intimidate drop, but he chooses the Dragon Dance up, which is totally fine. He's going to go for another Dragon Dance, so this is going to put him at +1, and I will this turn be able to just go for an Earthquake and do huge damage to this Zydogue. This is fine. Even though his Zydogue is boosting up, I know I can tank even a Z-move Outrage, as he's only at +1 and Lando is really bulky, so this turn he's actually going to go for the Z move, and yeah, pretty cool animation. Indeed. He's going to go for the Devastating Drake, so yeah, more than likely Outrage on this Zydogue set, as this might kill like an offensive Lando, but like I said, we're defensive, so we're going to chew this. As it still does a decent amount, but we living out here, so Lando is going to chew, and then we're going to go for the U-turn, knock out the Zydogue, and this is going to bring us, allow us to go back out into Tapu Lele this turn. Although the Psychic Terrain is going to go down, I'm still a decent threat even outside of Psychic Terrain to his team, so even if Lando had gone down there, I did have Alakazam in the back, so I wasn't too worried about the Zydogue there. He's going to bring in his Melodic here, which is fine. I'm just going to go for the T-Bolt this turn. I just wanted to scout out what his moveset was. He goes for Protect here, which is interesting. So this is definitely not an Assault Vest variant. I know that. And he's more than likely not like a Coil variant, which is solid, which is good to know. I'm going to switch out this turn, just in case he does want a Mirror Coat, now that I had shown that I was going to more than likely click T-Bolt, as I'm going to go into my Decidueye here, and yeah, he's going to go for the Skull this turn. Fishing for burns, dealing negligible damage to my Tapu Lele if I had stayed in there, but Decidueye's going to come in. We're going to eat that up. You know what? We're Fizz Def, but Decidueye's got that nice high base special defense, so it's not really a big concern. As he's going to withdraw his Melodic this turn, he's going to send in his Ninetales here, as I'm going to go for the Spirit Shackle. Ninetales isn't really going to appreciate this. Its Fizz Def is pretty garbage, but he can potentially get up an Aura Veil this turn if he does choose to. So I'm going to go for the Spirit Shackle, do a ton of damage to this Ninetales, which almost puts it in range to die to another round of rocks. So he can only switch in once more if he does want to switch out later in the match. I'm not going to stay in here with my Decidueye, although I could have tanked a Blizzard. If he was a Specs variant, which I haven't confirmed yet, then I could potentially lose one of my best ways of taking down my Melodic. So my Landorus is going to be sacked off here to the Blizzard. He'd done his job, he'd set up rocks, he'd put in the work, he'd tanked, Slack Guards hits, and he'd taken him out. So yeah, not much my Landorus could do for the rest of the match, as this does let me bring back in my my Tapu Lele, as even if he's a Scarfed Ninetales, he can't obviously take me out. Blizzard's going to do very little to my Tapu Lele, because we do have a naturally high SPDF, as we're going to take him out with the Psychic here. So Ninetales goes down. He does reveal to be a Scarfed variant of Ninetales, so pretty nice bring on my opponent's part, because it does let him outspeed my own Scarfers on my team. So he's going to go out into his Melodic here, as I really lose nothing by scouting the damage off on this Psychic. If he did want to take me out with Mirror Coat this turn, then I would be able to revenge him with my Decidueye, but he's going to go for the Ice Beam here. And as if the earlier hacks we faced wasn't enough, we're going to get frozen. The fact that he went for Ice Beam there instead of Recover meant that Tapu Lele won the following turn by clicking Psychic. But, of course, we get frozen, so nothing new out here. We stay getting locked, but we're going to switch out to Alakazam here, as I know that he's more than likely going to go for Scald or Recover, either of which we can start spamming Psychic. I choose to keep Lele around, just in case I need to set up the Psychic terrain for Alakazam later in the match, as it is one of my two methods of wearing down this Melodic. I didn't choose to pack Encore on Zam this week, just because Hidden Power Fire was needed to Oko Katana, as I didn't want to resort to Focus Blast. Missing, you already know we would have missed Focus Blast if we brought it this game. So yeah, Encore would have been nice for this Melodic, but I just couldn't fit it on this week, as Zam is going to get a Psychic off on this Melodic, and under Psychic terrain it is going to do enough to knock out my opponent. So that is week 4 of the ITL. Pretty garbage match, tons of hacks versus us, but that's the game, that's Pokemon. Sometimes we get locked. It only really affected differential. In reality, having Muck not burnt and crit earlier on in the match would have meant that I could have preserved it. Well, firstly I would have knocked out Chandelure with an unburnt Pursuit, so Chandelure wouldn't have had a chance to come in and get another kill, and even if I somehow didn't knock it out, I would have had my Self-S Muck to switch back into it instead of having to sack off Thundurus that turn. So having Thundurus around would have meant I would have had another way of dealing with Melodic. So hacks is hacks, but yeah, just affected differential. But it's pretty funny. I think I'm sure you guys will see the humor in it. Yeah, that is week 4. So week 5 should be coming up soon. We face off versus a pretty interesting team. I have made a couple of transactions on my squad. I've actually traded Zam. I love Alakazam, but I just wanted to have a bit of fun with my team, so I decided to use some more of my underused mons. So I have decided to trade Alakazam for Suicune, and to trade off my Alamamola for Shuckle. So Shuckle provides me some nice web support, as well as some other nice shenanigans that I'm not really going to go into. But yeah, this is definitely going to help out the rest of my squad immensely. And Suicune was actually like my favorite mon in Gen 5. I used to play a lot of UU in Gen 5, and Suicune was probably like my most used mon. It's a god. It's definitely not just limited to the Crocoon set, although that set is pretty good. It's yeah, it's definitely not a one-trick pony, and it's a fun mon for sure, and I think it'll fit nicely on the team. Obviously, it sucks, losing my Regent Alamola, but Suicune is definitely, just as good, if not better. So, yeah, that's going to be week 4 of the ITL. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like on the video and let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the match. And I will see you guys next time.